Nestled deep in the bustling heart of Karachi's Sadar area, Peela School was a relic from the British colonial era. Its yellow facade, now faded and peeling, stood as a testament to its storied past. For decades, the school was a place of learning and laughter, but whispers of strange occurrences and ghostly apparitions had long since tainted its reputation. One fateful evening, Saima, a young teacher, decided to stay late to prepare for the upcoming annual function. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the once lively corridors of Peela School felt eerily silent. Saima, engrossed in her work, didn't notice the creeping shadows that seemed to stretch unnaturally across the walls. The clock struck midnight, and a sudden chill filled the air. Saima shivered, rubbing her arms as she glanced around the dimly lit room. She dismissed her unease as fatigue and returned to her task, unaware of the pair of eyes watching her from the darkness. A soft whisper echoed through the empty hallways, growing louder and more insistent. "Saima!" The voice was faint, almost childlike. Saima froze, her heart pounding in her chest. She stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor, and called out, "Who's there?" The only response was the creaking of the old wooden floors. Gathering her courage, Saima stepped into the hallway, her footsteps echoing ominously. She glanced at the portraits of former headmasters lining the walls, their eyes seeming to follow her every move. As she reached the end of the corridor, Saima noticed a faint light emanating from the old library, a room that had been locked for years. She hesitated, her hand trembling as she pushed open the heavy door. The room was bathed in an unnatural glow, and in the center stood a young girl in a tattered school uniform. The girl's eyes were hollow, her expression blank. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered, her voice echoing off the dusty shelves. Saima's breath caught in her throat as the temperature plummeted further. "Who are you?" she managed to ask, her voice barely audible. The girl stepped closer, her form flickering like a candle in the wind. "I am Alia," she said. "I used to study here before the fire." Saima's blood ran cold. She had heard stories of the tragic fire that claimed the lives of several students decades ago, but she had never believed them to be true. As Alia's story unfolded, Saima learned of the school's dark history. The fire, it seemed, was no accident. A jealous teacher, driven by envy and madness, had set the blaze, trapping the children inside. Their spirits, restless and vengeful, now roamed the halls of Peela School. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, trapping Saima inside. Panic surged through her as she banged on the door, her cries for help echoing in the empty school. Alia's form grew more solid, her eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. "You must leave," she warned. "The others, they are not as forgiving." As if on cue, the room filled with a cacophony of whispers and cries. Shadows twisted and contorted, taking on the shapes of children with hollow eyes and gaping mouths. Saima backed away, her heart racing, but there was nowhere to run. The spirits closed in, their cold fingers brushing against her skin. "Help us," they pleaded. "Avenge us." Saima realized that the only way to escape was to confront the evil that had condemned these children to their fate. She had to find the source of their torment and put it to rest. Summoning her courage, Saima addressed the spirits. "I will help you," she vowed. "Tell me what to do." The room fell silent, and Alia stepped forward, placing a cold hand on Saima's shoulder. "Find the diary," she said. "It holds the key to our salvation." The diary, hidden in the headmaster's office, contained the dark secrets of the teacher responsible for the fire. Saima raced through the darkened halls, the spirits guiding her steps. She found the diary, its pages filled with confessions of guilt and madness. As she read aloud the damning words, a sense of peace washed over the school. The spirits, their vengeance fulfilled, began to fade. Alia smiled for the first time, her form shimmering like a mirage. "Thank you," she whispered, before disappearing into the ether. The next morning, the sun rose over Peela School, its yellow walls gleaming in the light. Saima stood in the courtyard, exhausted but relieved. The school was no longer haunted by its tragic past. The spirits had found peace, and so had she.